My name is Scott Spencer. I come from the island of Mokului, Hilo, Hawaii. I have questions and I hope we can answer them as best as to our knowledge as we can. My first question is, government property, no trespassing, no camping, hiking, use of motorized vehicles, horseback, or any other means of transportation is strictly prohibited. No hunting, transportation of weapons or dogs upon these lands is strictly prohibited. Trespassing section 708 to 815. Does this, commissioners, does this regard me being a Hawaiian? Is this for me, being on Hawaiian, this no trespassing? That's what I want to know. If any of you guys can give me one answer, I'd love to hear one answer. My second thing is, no hunting of weapons. I go up there for spiritual, cultural practices, gathering rights. DHHL Articles 12, Section 7, right, states, I could be wrong, my hunting gathering rights, as on Hawaiian. On unoccupied land, one Hawaiian would be able to go and feed his family. Does this pertain to me? Second of all, so after the signs I see get trenches now. Is this because of me? I like, no. Stopping one Hawaiian for his birthright, for go up the mountain and gather. I know everybody doing ecotourism. I know everybody doing cattle. I know you guys trying to eradicate the sheep. But what about the Hawaiians who still like practice their culture? Where does that leave us? I'm a successor by blood quantum. My son is a beneficiary. His line can go back to Keku Haupio. All our crown lands. So what do I tell my son when he comes of age? Boy, you cannot go because there's a trespassing sign. And furthermore, get signs. Now it says kapu on here. No mud bogging. Prevent gorge spread. As on Hawaiian, yeah, we're supposed to teach our keikis how for malama ra'aina. Please answer me these questions. How I gonna get access? I went down to see you guys already. Go see her, and her. But today, at least I got for Shama Mana'o with you guys, right? So I asking you guys, on the board, take one vote. I asking you guys right now, as on Hawaiian, for have access to the mauna.
Okay, Mr. Spencer, we actually have a presentation in front of the commission on the status of the Aina Mauna plan. What I can do, let me just ask, how many people in the audience are here because of Mauna Kea or Aina Mauna? So what I'll do is, if with the deference of the commission, we'll do the consent agenda, and then I will move the presentation on the Aina Mauna status so that we can have this discussion. Just so that you know that a vote is not something that we can do without agendizing it ahead of time. But there's a number of issues, and I think the question of access, how we provide that access actually is a conversation that we've been trying to, we want to provide that in a way that is responsible to the resource, which I think beneficiaries are on the same line with us. Yeah. So I appreciate your passion and what you're expressing. I guess, commissioners, are there any questions for Mr. Spencer? I do have one question.
Yes.
Do you hunt on other lands beside DHHL lands? Like, do you hunt in the DLNR or other areas?
Okay, my whole question, yeah, no, okay, I mean, yes, well, not really.
Okay.
Because I don't carry a rifle.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Because one of the discussion points, and perhaps this is a question we can have with is the regulation of the game, which is the resort, because it moves, is something that is under DLNR's jurisdiction right now, but access to the land, or is under DLNR's jurisdiction, period, at the time being. But the access to the land is DHHL. So trying to understand how best to provide access, between, and allow for that hunting between these two agencies is what the discussion has been. So I wanted to find out from someone who may be hunting, what is the experience? How do you folks do it as it relates to like DLNR?
Well, for me, I'm 41 years old.
Yeah.
I've been hunting since I was probably 10 years old. The game no move. The game does not move. If you born in that spot, the game will always be in that spot. Yeah, they rotate, they circulate, but my whole question is, does this pertain to me?
Okay, we hear you. Any other questions, Commissioner? Did you have a question?
Oh, no, I just.
Okay. So why don't we will take the public testimony, then we're gonna vote on the consent agenda, and then we will move up the item on a presentation, because I know some people are here to hear that presentation. So thank you very much, Mr. Spencer. Appreciate your manao. Okay, we're gonna move on. TJ Forsyth, is it Forsyth? I'm sorry, did I pronounce your name?
TJ Forsyth, yeah.
Forsyth, okay.
Yeah. Aloha, good morning.
Testifying in F3 and F1.
Yeah.
Go ahead, whenever
Okay.
you're ready, TJ.
So I just want to introduce myself again because we have a new Pauline Naumo. Welcome. First of all, my name is TJ Forsyth. I'm 25% Hawaiian. My mom is Sharon Forsyth, but she's a Calvin Mohili. She's 50% Hawaiian. My grandma is pure Hawaiian, Louise Loaka Calvin Mohili. She's the daughter of Mamani Calvin Mohili. His father is Calvin Mohili, High Chief of Hilo. Why do I always say that? Because Humu'ula Pi'ho'unua is crown land. That was reserved for Ali'i. Now, I didn't choose my bloodline. I was born with it. Okay? And it's a real spiritual thing for me because I'm not allowed to access that land. Now, for me, there's two things I want to address today, and they're polar opposites of the direction that I want to go. The first one being spiritual and cultural, separate from hunting. There's two different things, two different directions I'm going. So the first one I want to talk about is spiritual and cultural practices. Why is it that Hawaiian Homes is locking the mountain down and stopping the Hawaiians who have kuleana on that land to go? Why is it? Why is there no trespassing signs? Now they're getting creative with the wording. No weapons. Because weapons defined is spear, knife, leomano. We're not into firearms anymore. Because they would always tell us, if you guys go, gotta use rope. If you guys gathering, gotta go on horse. If you guys gathering, you gotta use spears. Yeah, me and Scott Spencer killed cattle with spears. Let me tell you, it's not one easy thing to do. One spear and one rope. We get them on film. And the thing is, King Kamehameha III lifted the ban on bullocks in 1830 under his reign. And he hired Bulgarian hunters from Bulgaria, which is in the Aina Mana, and other case studies, to train Hawaiians how to use a gun. And you know what that purpose was for? So that the Hawaiian peoples would stop dying in the pursuit of hunting. You know, if we go back like 100 years, 200, 300, 400 years, okay? Whenever the families went out to gather food, there was a good chance people weren't gonna come back. So Kamehameha III was smart enough to know that with technology, we have guns. Let's shoot the cattle and bring it home, and everybody comes home safe. So, with the spiritual and cultural practices, I just don't know why I'm not allowed to access those lands for those specific reasons. You look at Parks and Recreation. Parks and Recreation's mission is to bring families and cultures together. A meeting place, neutral. That's why they pick those specific places. You don't need a right of entry to enter those parks. Anybody can go. But Hawaiian Homes land, if you want to go spiritual and cultural, you have to have a right of entry. Now the problem is, you need $1 million insurance. If I grab 12 guys, we split up the difference. It's not a problem to get the insurance. But why should they have to have insurance to get a right of entry? Parks and Recreations don't require it. You know? So my whole thing is like, I was raised on that mountain. My grandmother took me on that mountain. So for me, I have Kuleana out there, you know? And to watch the sunset and the sunrise, I always talk about that because that's healing for me. To sit in the rain on that mountain and let it just get me soaking wet from head to toe, that's healing for me. You know, if you look at technology, what do they sell for relaxing? MP3s, CDs, DVDs, maybe not so much those anymore, but as far as we can remember, they'll always sell you sounds of what? The jungle, the rain, the waves. Because people who don't go out into the elements can have it right there at their palm of their hand. Why? Why did they market that? Why did they sell that? Because it's healing. It's healing for the people. You know? So for me, I have access to that mountain, but I cannot go. And that's a problem for me. And that's why I'm starting to come to these meetings, because I'm 44 years old. The outlaw days is behind me already. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of looking over my shoulder for DLNR. I cannot. And for as long as my son is 22 years old, I teach him to hunt. Yeah, he can hunt. But I only teach him the stuff that is state law. He has a license. I have a license. I hunt in those areas you talk about. You know, I make my own guns. I build them. I mean, Kelvin Mohili bloodline, we was wood carvers. We made the weapons for Kamehameha when he went to Battle Puna. So, I mean, I know who I am. I just don't know why you guys don't recognize that. How come you guys don't recognize me to access my rights on that mountain? How come? You know, how come? So with that, on just the spiritual and culture part, I just want to leave that with you. The second part is hunting. Now we're going to talk about hunting. We can talk, if you want to talk about gathering, if you want to talk about hunting, if you want to talk about weapons or ropes or knives or spears, whatever it is. You know, why is the Hawaiians not able to gather for their families? We're in an economic downfall right now. Food is expensive. And for, you know, not everybody has high-paying jobs. So subsistence is in the mountain. Yeah, we can go and register and sign in to government property, state DLNR responsibility, DLNR areas, and I do that. I'm on record doing that. But the simple matter of the fact is, when you compare Crown land to state land for gathering of food, you cannot touch Crown land because it's there. The food is there, right on the road. You can drive. Cattle is right there. The pigs come out. Because it's protected. Protected for who is what I want to know. Because only the companies or people with ROEs have access on that land. But the people who have Kuleana, no more access. So I'm not going to teach my son to be an outlaw. I'm not going to teach him to cut one lock. Although that's how I was brought up. I'm not going to carry that legacy and live it through it, because that's not right. The responsibility is with you guys. To let Hawaiians, to let people back on the land. And I always say this because Kamaka Kanaka Ole's mom sits on your advisory council, policy board making, okay, for spiritual and cultural practices. He told me, in order for the Hawaiian people to start healing, to facilitate dependence on the Aina, to learn more about their culture, you have to first let them on the land. But that cannot start until we get access to the land. So my whole thing is addressing the spiritual and cultural separate from hunting, because if I'm on the mountain for spiritual and cultural, I'm not hunting. I'm on the mountain for spiritual and cultural. I was just up there this weekend, sitting down on the grass, watching the sunrise. Shishiro went past me. He saw me. I was just sitting there. No guns, no nothing. I just went up, watched the sunrise, came down. So how come? You know? And I want to agendize this. I want this agendized. I want the commission, because I want to start record. I want you guys to vote either for me to come on, to have access on the mountain, or vote me down. Because there's one thing I don't want to do is waste my time. I understand politics. I can play politics. But I don't feel I have to play politics for something that is our right to have. I can go play politics with the current guys who has a right of entries right now. I could have did that 3-4 years ago, but it's wrong. It's wrong. I could have did that, but that's wrong. It should be ours to have, because it's in the act for us to have. It's written for us to have. You know, and in closing, I just want to thank you guys for my time. I'm sorry, I get emotional with this kind of stuff. You know, and I don't want to come across as a troublemaker, because I'm not. If you guys would have just told me, here, go do your right of entry, do your spiritual and culture, I wouldn't come to this, because I have no reason to. So, thank you.
Before I open up to questions, I just want to ask a couple of questions for you, Mr. Forsyth. So, so we have between the two polar extremes of no access to unlimited access. You're not asking for something like unlimited access for anybody who wants to hana, up there in the mountain, yeah? So I think actually the department, where the discussion has been with the advisory group, and this is a really good time because we don't know what the answer is about how we want access for beneficiaries who are going up there with the right kuleana mindset, yeah? Because that resource is meant for all beneficiaries, yeah?
Right.
And so how we do that as a state entity is where that discussion is happening. So like mana'o you might have about, as an individual, the right of entries that are there, like if you wanted a one-day right of entry, those kinds of things I think may be possible. But for the longer-term right of entries, it's what's there is kind of.
So are you saying that if I go down to Hawaiian Homes this week and I ask for a one-day right of entry?
I don't know, because that's a question that we would have for Kuali'i when he comes up. I don't want to say what happens in the Hilo office but I can say from a policy standpoint where the discussion has been with the advisory group was, how do we allow access? What should be the permitted uses and how should that happen? But before we can get to implementation, we also want to afford, because this is one of the conversation points from the last meeting, how does any beneficiary be able to engage in that discussion on this island, yeah? So we're kind of in a in-between phase is what I'm saying. So if you have ideas about, okay, if you were here sitting in this chair and you had that kuleana, how would you do it? Because that mana'o would be really helpful for us to figure out how do we allow.
So if you look at, so my whole thing is like, don't reinvent the wheel, yeah?
Oh, absolutely,
So
I'm
if it's
totally
like,
with you.
let's look at OMKM, Kahu, right, that mountain. That Kahu board already has, they allow spiritual and cultural practices on that mountain. So maybe we need to sit down with them and go over what is the criteria that you guys set for people to access that land,
Okay,
That's
good feedback.
Because then the second thing too is like with the hunting, Anamana is a 2009. Till today, no more nothing. DLNR, they have an effective, proven nationwide hunting program. piggyback theirs one. And then just utilize the information they have and create your own. Commitment Schools already has one. Bishop Estate has. They have access on those lands and they open it up. You know, I just don't know why Hawaiian Homes doesn't, you know? And I'm not pointing finger at anybody, I just don't know why Hawaiian Homes does it. And then, you know.
That's helpful information. I do, appreciate that feedback. Commissioners, any other?
William Aiga is here. He's number 2 in Hawaiian Homes. He used to be the head of DLNR. You know, I know it's probably been a topic, but I know he's your man.
Oh yeah, we're working on it. Don't get me wrong, we're working on it. So, commissioners, any other Commissioner Kaikina?
Thank you, because this conversation is a long time, have to be discussed among us. And I just wanted to qualify that this is my manawa, you know, as a Kanaka Maoli, the 3rd generation on the Ainaho, Pulupulu, and Nanapuli. We do have the right, and the federal laws give us that right. It's too bad that the
Department
courts,
of Interior gives us that right.
You're exactly right. And but it seems like the courts are not recognizing us fast enough as Native Hawaiians. In fact, every law that I read, even the Constitution, the Admissions Act, everything does give us that right. And you're right, because everybody else is making a decision, that process that you're talking about. This act was created as a rehabilitation. That means that we got to go back to fishing. Boy, it means that the Y got to touch the Kai and everybody else. The public trust is held in public trust, and if you read the law, it spells out 2 beneficiaries. The first one, you can feel taught, it says Native Hawaiians, as defined in the Hawaiian Commission Act of 1920, as amended in 1921, and general public.
That's right.
Sound like we want, I mean, I don't like offend anybody here, but sound like we want hybrid citizen here. Because we in both canoes. Me and your tutu men never had no choice in this melting pot. We just got melted, man. And right now, I'm at the point where I don't think this thing can work the way it is. It's gonna be 100 years, man. I don't think we're stupid. Exactly what's happening to you, it's happening to us. Other people are using our aina. On Oahu, man, egg lot is given to somebody that's just blowing, moving without even beneficiary consultation. And he's telling Native Hawaiian, and he's using one non-Hawaiian to tell them 50%, you cannot come up here. So this is close in my heart, man. You got the right, but it seems like it's not broken promises, they're breaking the law.
There you go. Call it what it is, Kaikina.
That's what it is. The truth shall set you free.
So, you know, I mean, for me, it's like I carry my genealogy with me. I even have it in plastic when I go and gather. So that if I run into, so this is the line right here. You know, I'm not just saying I'm Keva Magili. I could be whoever. But this is my genealogy right here, and this says that I am who I am. You guys want to see it, inspect it, please. And then the Ainamona. And I'm not going to go into the darkness without one light. I need to see where I'm going. This genealogy and Ainamona for Hu'umula Pi'onoa tells me where I need to go. So, and I'm creating my own thing, and I'm coming up here with a hidden agenda. I'm just being straight up front with you guys.
Well, I appreciate your time, Mr. Forsyth. Are there any other other questions for this testifier? If not, I
Sure,
would
one
thank
more
you
thing,
for.
if I may.
Yeah.
If you're going to direct copy, you should put this with your lineal descendant. This is all the laws that you should have, be with that. That gives you that right. But I need my copy back.
Give the man his coffee, come on.
That's the only one I got, that's why.
You want us to run a copy for you? We can. He was
Oh,
serious,
that's
TJ. He
it.
wasn't-
At
he
least
wasn't
do
joking.
that,
He
for
wasn't joking.
There's no blackout the important stuff, eh?
maybe Julie or someone can run it, or Susie. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Forsyth.
Nobody else get questions?
No worries. Okay, Florence Kihaulani Presbys, Namau.